Porsche fan, you know all about GTS cars. These are cars that are designed to achieve the perfect balance between daily usability and track performance. They have a very distinctive personality. And now we get our first ever Porsche GTS fully electric vehicle with the vehicle we have here, the Porsche Taycan GTS. Now my question is, does the GTS treatment work on a fully electric vehicle? The answer is yes. Like all Porsche GTS cars, the Taycan GTS comes standard with features designed to enhance its cornering abilities and make it perform better on a winding road. It features a standard adaptive air suspension system with self-leveling and Porsche's active suspension management technology, which receives special tuning exclusive to the GTS trim. These can be paired with an optional Porsche torque vectoring system and rear axle steering, while the brakes taken from the Taycan 4S are larger with 390mm rotors up front. The Taycan GTS is powered by two motors, one on each axle, delivering 509 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque to all four wheels. Now, if you dial it up to launch mode, you get 590 horsepower when you step on the right pedal, powering the EV to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.7 seconds. To put these numbers in perspective, the Taycan 4S delivers up to 522 horsepower and reaches 100 kilometers per hour in 4 seconds. The Taycan Turbo has a maximum of 670 horsepower, and it will sprint to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.2 seconds. As for the range-topping Turbo S, it registers 750 horsepower and a 2.8 second run to 100 kilometers per hour. Visually, the Taycan GTS gets traditional blacked-out elements, including the side skirts, front apron, rear diffuser, and headlights and taillights. It also gets available RS Spyder wheels that aren't found in other Taycan trims. The Taycan GTS is offered in both sedan and Sport Turismo versions. My tester was the sedan, not the Sport Turismo, which is exclusive to the GTS model here in North America. Essentially a Taycan Cross Turismo without the off-road design bits, the Sport Turismo adds 45mm of rear headroom and offers up to 1,200 liters of total cargo space. As I often remarked in other Taycan reviews, the sedan isn't very practical, especially in the back seat, and especially if you must fit a child seat back there. The Cross Turismo is a much more appealing option in that situation, and the same can be said for the Sport Turismo. Alright, so here we are driving the Porsche Taycan GTS, and I'm actually on my way back to bring it back to Porsche, and you know, I really don't want to bring it back. It's as simple as that. It is such an exceptional car. Never mind the fact that it's electric. Never mind the fact that it's you know, a Porsche Taycan. Just the car itself, the way it feels, the way it drives, the way it is connected to the road. This is just an exceptional vehicle, and it's so much fun to drive. Now, every Porsche Taycan that I've driven has stood out with its handling, with its weight distribution, with the feel of the steering wheel. Every Taycan is an authentic Porsche in the way it handles and the way it behaves. But the GTS just feels just a little bit more connected. And it certainly feels very authentically GTS in the way it behaves. It all starts, you know, when you step inside, you have the Alcantara on the steering wheel. The seats are traditional GTS seats. You have the Alcantara on the dash. So immediately you feel like you are in a GTS car. And then when you head out on the road, the performance is great in terms of straight line accelerations. On paper, it's between the Taycan 4S and the Taycan Turbo, but it feels a lot closer to the Turbo and the Turbo S than it does to the 4S. So performance-wise, it's not the quickest Taycan, but it definitely feels very, very, very quick, and it reacts almost immediately to any type of acceleration and any type of performance that you're looking for. This car just leaps forward in a traditional electric vehicle way for performance electric vehicles. So it definitely has that quick acceleration. But where this Taycan GTS really stood out for me is just the way it corners, and it just feels like it is on rails. But that's a description that's used way too often for cars that really don't deserve it. But this one deserves it. You cannot get close to the limits of this car on the road. There's no highway entry or highway exit or roundabout that you can even get near what this car can do. And so that means that when you're daily driving, every sort of corner, every winding road that you come across is just an opportunity to have a lot of fun and to drive a car that you feel really connected to. So for me, that's the most impressive part of the Taycan GTS, is how, like a lot of, or every other GTS car, it feels so dialed in and just so good at taking corners. And then of course you have the performance that is traditional of an electric vehicle, that is just mind-blowing. When you hit the accelerator, the thing just jumps, teleports forward. It gives you really a unique sense of confidence and fun, really, behind the wheel. The other thing that we have to mention about the Taycan GTS is the range. Now, the Porsche Taycan has gotten better in terms of range in the last year, and for 2023 it's going to get even better as well in terms of range, thanks to some updates that Porsche has made. And it's kind of what Porsche is doing is kind of slowly moving away from the initial EPA range numbers, which were disappointing for many consumers. But you know, we've driven many Taycans over the years, and every time it's been the same story. Their actual range is a lot better than the posted range. So Porsche under promises and over delivers when it comes to the range of the Taycan. But this Taycan GTS is definitely the one that I've driven so far that has the most range. When I picked it up, I was at 425 kilometers of range. It's the first time I've ever seen over 400 kilometers on a Taycan when I picked it up. And I managed to get about 410 kilometers on one of my test routes. So definitely better range for the Taycan overall, but the GTS is also one of the Taycan models that gives you the most range, and for that fact alone, it's definitely just another argument in favor of the new GTS version.
With a starting price of $152,100 in Canada and $134,100 in the US, the Taycan GTS costs about $20,000 more than a base Taycan 4S, but that difference narrows when you factor in the standard features of the GTS trim. Ultimately, the difference in price is justified by the enhanced handling of the GTS, but more importantly by how it feels on the road. Like Porsche GTS cars with an internal combustion engine, the Taycan GTS has a unique personality that is well worth the premium.